Would you give up wealth, comfort, and reputation just to follow Christ? Imagine standing at the crossroads of your own life, surrounded by the familiar warmth of family, the security of inheritance, and the praise of your peers. Now, picture turning away from it all, not with bitterness, but with a smile that radiates a joy deeper than gold. This was the path chosen by Francis of Assisi, a man the world once called a fool, but whose life would echo as a song of love without measure. Born into privilege in the bustling medieval town of Assisi, Francis grew up under the shadow of his father's prosperous cloth business. The markets, the banquets, the laughter of familiar faces, all these were woven into the fabric of his youth. He dreamed, like many young men, of glory and honor, of carving his name into history's stone. But the world he knew was about to be unmade. War came, and with it, the reality of suffering, of loss, of broken dreams. Captured as a prisoner, Francis tasted the bitterness of defeat. Yet in that darkness, a new light beckoned. The voice of Christ, gentle, persistent, called him to something more. Francis returned home changed. He began to withdraw from the revelries, the pleasures, and the ambitions that once defined him. He listened to the silence, and in that silence, he heard the cry of the poor, the sick, the forgotten. Most startling of all, he felt a kinship with the lepers, those shunned by society, feared for their disease, left to die at the edge of civilization. Where others saw horror, Francis saw Christ himself. He embraced the lepers, washed their wounds, shared his bread with them. To many, it was madness. But to Francis, it was love in its purest form. One day, as he knelt before a crumbling old church, Francis heard the words that would shape his destiny. "Francis, rebuild my church." At first, he understood this literally. He gathered stone and mortar, mended walls, and patched roofs. But soon, he realized the deeper meaning. The church was not only a building, it was a people, fractured by greed, violence, and indifference. Francis saw his mission, to restore not just the structure, but the soul of the church. Abandoning his family's wealth, Francis donned a rough tunic, tied with a simple cord. He walked barefoot through the streets, singing praises to God, greeting everyone as a brother or sister. To him, all creation was family: the birds, the sun, the moon, the wind. He spoke to them with the same affection he gave to people, seeing in their beauty the artistry of the Creator. His song was one of radical simplicity and joy, a melody that drew followers from every corner. The movement he began was not built on power or prestige, but on humility and service. Francis and his companions begged for food, lived among the poor, and travelled from village to village, preaching peace. They carried nothing but faith. No money, no fine clothes, no weapons. Their joy was contagious, even in the face of mocking, rejection, or hardship. They were fools, perhaps, in the eyes of the world. But their foolishness was wisdom in disguise, the wisdom of love that asks for nothing in return. Francis understood that true joy is not found in possessions, accomplishments, or the fleeting applause of others. It is born from radical trust in God. Every morning, he greeted the day not with anxiety over what he lacked, but with gratitude for what he had been given: life itself, the chance to love, and the freedom to serve. He was unattached to things, unburdened by fear. His heart was light because he carried nothing except hope. In an age of violence, Francis preached peace. He walked boldly into the camps of warring armies, urging them to lay down their swords. He travelled to the Sultan of Egypt during the Crusades, not to wage war, but to offer friendship and dialogue. He believed that peace begins in the heart, first with God, then with oneself, and finally with others. His voice was gentle, his words simple. Yet they touched even the hardest hearts. Francis knew suffering intimately. He endured hunger, cold, ridicule, and even illness. Towards the end of his life, his body was marked by wounds, the stigmata, a mysterious sign of his union with Christ's own suffering. Yet through it all, his spirit remained joyful. He sang the Canticle of the Sun, praising God for brother sun and sister moon, for fire, water, and even for death itself. For Francis, every moment was a gift, every challenge an invitation to love more deeply. Holiness, as Francis lived it, is freedom from fear and attachment. It is not about escaping the world, but embracing it with open arms. It is finding God in the ordinary, in the laughter of children, the rustle of leaves, the tears of the suffering. It is living with a heart so uncluttered that love flows freely, unimpeded by jealousy, greed, or resentment. Francis asks us, what is the measure of your love? Is it calculated, reserved, doled out in safe amounts? Or is it poured out recklessly, without concern for reward? To love as Francis loved is to risk being misunderstood, even rejected. It means stepping beyond comfort, into the unknown, trusting that God will catch you. He challenges us to simplify our hearts, to loosen our grip on possessions, on grudges, on fears, to live with joy, a joy that shines even in darkness, to let love, not wealth, be the currency of our soul. You do not need to abandon all you own and wander barefoot to follow the way of Francis, but you can choose each day to give more freely, to serve more humbly, to greet the world with wonder and gratitude. You can seek beauty in small things, peace in troubled places, and joy that lasts beyond circumstance. The fool who loved without measure became a saint, not because he sought greatness, but because he sought God in every face, every moment, every breath. His life is a beacon, a reminder that true greatness is found in the smallest acts of compassion, the simplest words of kindness, the quiet courage to love without counting the cost. So, as you journey through your own life, ask yourself, what am I holding on to that keeps me from loving freely? What fears bind my heart? What attachments weigh me down? Let them go. Simplify your heart. Live with joy. And let love, not wealth, be the currency of your soul. For in loving without measure, you will find the deepest freedom, the truest happiness, and the peace that passes all understanding.